It's time for Success in Real Estate with Frankie Griffin, owner and broker in charge of the Palmetto Success Team, certified residential specialist, accredited buyer representative, military relocation professional, real estate appraiser, and author of Success in Real Estate. If you are interested in buying or selling a home, investing in real estate, or having your home appraised, you will enjoy Success in Real Estate. Now, here's Frankie Griffin.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Success in Real Estate. I am Frankie Griffin, broker and real estate appraiser here in South Carolina. And thank you for joining me today. Some things we want to talk about, quite frankly, several things. One, I do have last month's statistics to sort of give us an idea of what real estate's doing in the Midlands here of South Carolina, as well as the top 10 remodeling projects we're going to talk about. These top 10 remodeling projects, according to the researchers here, return the largest or create the largest return on the investment anyway. So we're going to spend some time talking about those. And then I've also noticed a little bit of a trend here in the last few months regarding South Carolina real estate, and I sort of wanted to talk about that just a little bit. But as always, we certainly want to make sure we address any questions or even comments that you may have as the listener. Love for you to give me a call. The number in studio is 799-8255 or 799-TALK. We'd love to hear from you. Jump on the phones. In fact, there's nobody on the lines right now, so they're all clear. Plenty of room for you to give me a call. But let me start off talking about a trend I'm starting to see, and love to hear from you to see, is this a good thing or not? Well, I say or not. I don't know why it would be a bad thing. But we're seeing a lot of people from the northern states they're migrating more towards South Carolina. And, you know, in the past, it's not unusual to hear people are moving from the colder states down to Florida. That seems to have been the big place to go. But what I'm starting to see now, and the reason people are choosing South Carolina over Florida, is because the insurance is so high. I'm talking about home and property insurance for Florida. Given all the hurricanes and storms and disasters they've had, insurance is very high. In fact, I'm working with a client right now. He's moving from Pennsylvania, and you know, it's just incredible to see the number of people I've actually talked to from out of state and from some of the northern states. I've actually got a phone call yesterday from a couple from Illinois looking at a lake lot that that I've actually got listed for sale. So we've just got a lot of people from the colder northern states looking at coming down to where it's a little bit warmer. And I'm also seeing posts and feedback from several other real estate agents indicating that they're working with clients right now from these colder northern states. So just curious, I'd love to hear from you. Is that good or bad? I certainly think it's good. I can't see anything bad about it, but it is a trend that I'm starting to see. Now, some of the statistics that I wanted to touch on, at least in this first segment, some of it is not really hadn't changed a lot from the first month, but you're looking at, just to give you an idea, you're looking at, in terms of list prices on average for the month of February, the average list price here in the Midlands is $196,000 compared to same time or February of last year was about $178,000. So you're starting to see these prices go up. So real estate values hopefully are going up. I think that's a very good thing, especially if you own real estate. But the big difference I'm seeing here from this month compared to last year in February is the time or days on the market. Because in February of last year, it took, on average, 120 days once the house was listed for it to go under contract. where now this past February it's down to just 100 days. So you're talking about right at 3 weeks. That's a pretty significant difference right there, and very interested to see how that's going to hold up as the year goes on. If you're thinking about selling your house, I will just tell you, this is the time. This is the time to we need to talk about this, because you need to go ahead and get the property on the market pretty quick. Because I'm going to throw out some numbers very quickly. I don't want to dwell too much on them, but just to give you an idea why we need to look at it now. And these are 2013 statistics, but you'd see year over year it's going to be pretty much the same. But in March of last year, you had 750 houses sold. In April of last year, 782. May, 957. And what you're seeing is the closer we get into the summer, the more houses are selling. June was 957. July was 939. And then the highest or the biggest sales month was August, which was 991. And then it starts tapering back down as you go into the fall and certainly into the winter. But the point is, during the springtime, this is when you're going to have buyers out here out looking for a home. You see these same trends every year, and it's primarily driven by the schools. Most buyers tend to have children, and when they're looking at when they're looking at buying a house, the last thing most parents want to do is move during the school year and have to pull their child out of one school and start them in another one halfway through the year. So you tend to see the big sale or the big number of sales through the summer when school is out. People are looking, buyers are out there in droves right now. It's incredible. I know last year was very busy, and this year has not slowed down at all. I know how busy I am, and talking to other real estate agents, same thing. It's very busy out there. So if you're thinking about selling your house, this is the time, and we would love to talk to you. You can contact the Palmetto Success Team, which is myself and Stacy Starnes, and we've got Ashley Jeffcoat is also one of our buyer agents and does an awesome job with that. But we would love to sit down and talk to you about getting your house on the market, what it would take to get it sold, and there's some things, and I will just say this too. You can't just put a for sale sign in the yard and wait and see what happens. You have to have a plan. There needs to be a strategy, and that's sort of what sets apart agents that tend to list houses and get them sold versus some agents that just seem to list the house and it just sits there and sits there and sits there. So we got to have a strategy, so we need to sit down and talk about it, but now is the time. But one person I do have with me right now is Bobby Bain. Bobby Bain owns Bain Termite and Pest Control. Been knowing Bobby for many years now, and he does such an awesome job. And Bobby, you with me now?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, brother. I know you're getting ready to do an inspection of some sort. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm out in Spring Valley. It's still pouring rain.
Well, I apologize. I'm keeping you from getting out in the rain, but
you're bad.
But again, Bobby Bain with Bain Termite and Pest Control. Bob, you've been ridding homes of pests and animals and critters for how long now?
About 37 years, going on 38 now.
Good grief. I know somebody said that you actually treated Noah's Ark for termites.
I could have.
A long time. It does such a great job. You don't stay in business that long and don't have a really good reputation. People have to enjoy and appreciate what you do. But I wanted to ask you about a couple things. Number one, when people go to buy a house, one of the requirements by a lot of lenders anyway is to have a CL 100 letter. And explain to us, what is a CL 100 letter? And if I'm buying a house, what can I expect or what am I looking for out of this letter or inspection?
Well, it's an inspection in the crawl space from first main level down, usually from the bottom of the doors down. And we go in, we'll look for any kind of water damage to any kind of structure of your house underneath, mostly to the showers and the seals and things like that, and the moisture under the house. We check that. Then you're checking, I always checking for termites, so you're doing that for them. So you're doing a moisture check, you're doing a termite check, and any kind of water damage under the home or anything that came from a plumbing leak, you're looking for that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the reason I wanted to ask that, because, it's you're talking about a CL100 letter, which is a termite inspection, but a lot of it, if not most of it's dealing with water damage and water issues.
More times than not, it is water damage than termites, because nobody, a pipe bust or something under a house, usually it's from a shower or a seal getting wet from a old patio that kind of rolls back to the house and it leaks in and rots the seal. And then, it can be from just water going under your house and standing in the moisture in the ground, and those timber under the house will suck that water up into it, and they would rot them. So, there's a lot of different things we look for.
Well, and you do a great job with that, obviously. Well, one of the things we know for sure, living in South Carolina, it appears that termites are here.
You're going to have termites sooner or later. It doesn't matter if it's under contract with somebody. They will pop up. But the companies try to keep them out, and they will come back and take care of it for you. That's why it's so important to have a bond on your house. If you get termites, the company who has it on the bond, they will come take care of the necessary treatment wherever it's at, and if they do any damage, they will take care of it. And it's really important to make sure it's a damage contract, damage and repair contract. You want that. That's what you want to have on. Make sure you get.
Yeah, because apparently there's different types of bonds, I guess, from what I've been hearing and seeing.
Yeah, some companies would do just just an inspection every year and tell you if there's a problem. But there's no guarantee if there's something wrong, it's your problem. Mm-hmm. And you have to pay them to come out. So it's not that much different. More money that you can spend to have it done right.
Well, when you do the bond, you're guaranteeing any damage that could arise.
Right. That's right. I don't offer anything but that.
And I think that's what people want and would expect. And unfortunately, they think just because they have a bond, they think that kind of coverage goes with it. And I know that for a fact because I've talked to so many.
Those people, they think they have a bond, and they just have their insides for pest control. Mm-hmm. They say, we have him come out every month. That's not a bond. It's the bond is the termite bond, which the house has been treated with, for termites, and they will give you that. Okay.
Well, Bobby, the other thing I wanted to while I've got you, you come out and do treat. I know to my house, you come out about once a quarter.
Yeah, once a quarter for pest control.
Yeah.
We come out and and treat your house or whatever it needs to be done. We take care of it for you. And in that 3 months, if you have a problem, we come back free, take care of it, whatever kind of problem you're having.
Okay. And you spray my house every 3 months just to make sure we have no critters and bugs and stuff like that.
Once a quarter.
And boy, my wife just absolutely loves that because we were having issues with like roaches and stuff like that. And I say issues. Every now and then you see a roach or two, but one roach for my wife, and she's ready to move.
Yeah, usually that's a big, a palmetto bug, water bug, people call it, different names. And they stay out in the pine straw, and they'll get in your house.
Well, by accident. One of the issues I'm hearing a lot of people talk about right now, and I'm just curious if you're seeing or hearing it, but ladybugs are getting into a lot of houses.
And they're getting in through the windows where the cracks and stuff. And these are very hard. They fly. Mm-hmm. So they're hard to kill. If they come through your chemical, they will die. But I tell people, do not touch them or try to kill them on the wall because they leave a spot. If you just suck them up with a vacuum cleaner and try to figure out how they get in your house and seal that window or door, that's what, they're all in the yards. I've seen actually, I had some in my house last night. I had to get after it,
With your vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, but that's easy to suck it up and get it rid of it. Because if you try to kill it on the wall, it's going to leave a smear mark, a black mark. So it's very hard. And aerosol probably would kill it. But they fly in. They are very hard to control right now.
Well, and and they smell bad too.
I don't know about that.
I do. My son decided to just pop one, and boy, you could smell it. I mean, he tried to kill it just by smashing it, and good grief, it was. I didn't like it anyway. But Bobby, you do a great job with that. And how can our listeners get in touch with you if they got any questions or would like you to come out and check something out?
You can call my office at 550-1922, and Katie's there, and Katie would set her appointment up, and I will come out.
Awesome. Well, Bobby, I know you can't wait to get out in this rain, but you about like the postman, aren't you?
Yeah, I know, but it's rained so much, and the weather's been so bad since January. You have to get out there in it anyway. Got to
go do it. Bobby, hope you have a great weekend, my friend.
You too.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
All righty. All right, again, that's Bobby Baines. He owns Bain Termite and Pest Control. He's been working with me and for forever. I can't even tell you how long, but for a very long time. Does an incredible job. They do have a website if you want to check them out. It's BainTermiteandPestControl.com. Of course, don't forget the www.BainTermiteandPestControl.com. And if you forget that or can't write that down because you're riding down the road, just go to my website, which is www.FrankieGriffin.com, and you'll see a link there on the right-hand side of the page called it's just called Real Estate Partners. You can click on that, and you can see all our partners on there. Bobby Bain obviously is right there. We have several real estate partners, and if you're looking for any help or assistance with whatever, whether it be your air conditioning or you need a home inspection or an attorney or a lender, it's right there. And all these guys and gals do an awesome job with what they do. Again, just go to my website, www.frankiegriffin.com.
Now, the real estate horror story with Andy on Success in Real Estate.
All right, welcome back to Success in Real Estate. It is time to hear something horrifying by our resident attorney, Andy On, with On and McKay Law Firm. He does such an awesome job. He does so much for the real estate industry especially. But Andy, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I think you said that I was full of horror, not full of something else, right?
That's exactly what I said. And
I was wondering. I heard full of, but I wasn't sure exactly what you said. There are those listening and those who know me who would say I'm probably full of both.
We could fill in the blank with just about anything. I understand.
How you doing, Frankie?
Oh, it's such a fine day today.
I hear you, man. I'm so tired of this weather, though. I'm ready for, speaking of horror stories, trying to get into work today, and this nasty, cold, rainy weather is a mess. Real excited about some things going on, and I wanted to share with you guys before we get into our horror story of the day, which is really a horror issue. It has darkened my door on many different occasions, but I thought we'd go over it today. But we are happy to announce that we have now opened our Lexington office, our brand new Lexington office.
Awesome.
It's right on Main Street. If you know where Libby's restaurant is on Main Street, we're right across the street from that. I think it's 203 Main Street. Very excited about it. We're going to be having a grand opening hopefully in April, and I'll get you some more details and the listeners some more details on that so that they can come and help us come back to Lexington. You know, I grew up in Lexington. My family was in Lexington when you can get in and out of Lexington. Yeah. And now it's such a wonderful and desirable area in which to live. It is just it's a mess over there getting in and out of it, but it's a great place to be, and we're excited about it. We're excited about what's going on, not only in the real estate industry but in our business. And this is our 10th anniversary this year, so we got a lot of good things happening. So I wanted to just let your folks know that if they need to meet in the Lexington office to talk with me about a real estate issue, to have a real estate closing done, or to have any number of other legal issues addressed, I'm happy to meet with you there. and we're excited about that new addition. Frankie, I wanted to touch base today a little bit on an issue, and it was interesting. You were talking about how the market seemingly is making a move from more of a buyer's market to a seller's market. I thought those numbers that you introduced were really telling. And I tell you, I think that's the case too. That there is an increase in the pricing on homes now, which equates to an increase in all likelihood on the values of these homes. And so it looks like all indications are that we're slowly but surely becoming a more sellers-oriented market. Mm-hmm. Having said that, there are an awful lot of short sales still out there.
Yes.
And I wanted to touch base with the listeners today on short sales, because there's still an awful lot of opportunities out there, but many times these opportunities encounter obstacles, particularly in the short sale process. What is a short sale? A short sale is a sale of property short of what the actual mortgage payoff is, okay? Mm-hmm. So if you've got a $100,000 loan on a home and you're selling that property and you're trying to sell it on a short sale, you're going to try to somehow get the bank to approve a contract whereby you are selling the property for less than what is owed on the property, which means that a lot of times what the bank will do is they will do one of two things, or maybe a combination of both. They will typically want you to sign at closing, even though let's say you're selling a home, Frankie, and you're selling it under that scenario for $75,000, and so there's a $25,000 shortage. The bank is typically going to want you to sign a personal note, okay, a promissory note for some kind of monthly payment, to go on in the future to deal with that deficit, to deal with that deficiency, or either to deal with a negotiated deficiency. Even if it's a $25,000 face value deficiency, a lot of times we can negotiate that down, or we can try to get the bank to agree to something lower than that. But you have to keep in mind that regardless of what happens, if there is any deficiency forgiven by the bank is in all likelihood going to issue what's called a 1099 to you. And a 1099 essentially attributes whatever monies that were forgiven, okay, by way of a short sale to you as income, okay? And it's treated as income for purposes of taxation. Now, having said that, I'm not a tax guy, okay? I was in the half of the class that made the top half possible in tax. So I would have your clients consult with a tax advisor on that issue. But typically that is the way it works. For the bank to be able to forgive the debt and thereby write the debt off, they have to issue a 1099. Now, let's say that you get into a personal promissory note with them for that deficiency, okay? A lot of times the banks will say, okay, there's going to be no 1099 issued until such time as you either default or that you fully pay off the loan. Obviously, there wouldn't be a 1099 issued under those circumstances because the bank didn't lose anything and there was no debt or deficiency debt that they had to forgive. I say all that to say this. Short sale opportunities are great opportunities. They're wonderful opportunities for buyers, and quite honestly, they're good ways for sellers, particularly investors, to be able to get rid of properties that they're just unable to continue to cash flow on. But you got to make sure that you understand the consequences of these short sales. These are not easy transactions. These are not cut and dried transactions. These are not transactions that are easily approved by lenders. So you need to have an experienced, seasoned real estate professional like your team, Frankie,
yep,
to be involved in that process. Not only in the negotiation of the contract, but in dealing and interfacing with the lender. And I will tell you that it's so important to have a team approach on something like that, because these short sales, depending on the lender, can be very difficult to get approval on. There is a short sale addendum that our real estate association has developed that is a great addendum that should be used in a contract. And so if you've got a real estate agent and you're writing an offer on a short sale property, on a property that's known as a short sale opportunity, make sure, tell them, You heard some crazy guy on the radio talk about a short sale addendum. I want to make sure I have that because it does some things like it holds the time that you have to do your inspections until such time as the lender approves that short sale, so that you're not absorbing the cost of a termite letter or a home inspection or an appraisal or any number of inspections or surveys or anything like that until such time as the lender gets that approval done. Because you don't want to go through and absorb all those costs, and then all of a sudden the lender turned down the offer, and you decide to walk on to another home.
Yep.
So,
and Andy, we got a couple minutes left, but one thing I just wanted to caveat on something you said. If you're upside down, then maybe if you're trying to sell your house, want to get rid of it, and you're upside down, a short sale is certainly a possibility. There are some requirements, but it's just so important. If you are the seller, make sure the agent you're working with or talking to has done short sales before and experienced. It's really
no question that it's very important to have an experienced, seasoned agent involved in these types of transactions. These are not for the faint of heart. These are not for the impatient.
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to manage your risk, and a seasoned agent will know how to manage that risk, and will have a team put together like you do, Frankie.
Well,
that can help to manage that risk for you. So I thought the short sale hell is what we call it. So I hope that the listeners out there have an opportunity to maybe make an offer on a short sale. We'll give you an opportunity to represent them in that, and hopefully we can close it for them. So,
well, Andy, we're under a minute, and I will tell you, we're getting ready to hopefully close on a deal in Lexington. So I hope to visit your Lexington office here in the next couple of weeks.
Superb, my friend, superb.
And I'll be dropping that contract off to you this afternoon, by the way. But
even better. Try to stay dry.
Yeah, well,
but I think this is a great market, and I will tell you, I agree with you, Frankie. I do see pricing going up. I see this becoming more and more of a seller's market. So the buyer listeners out there, guys, let's don't sit on the fence anymore.
You're right.
Now's the time.
You're
okay,
right.
You can pay rent and basically pay somebody else's mortgage, or you can start paying your own mortgage and get a tax write-off for interest, potentially for mortgage insurance and taxes. Now's the time.
All right, Andy, we're about out of time. You got about 5 seconds. What's your number? How can we get in touch with you?
803-744-0824. Give us a call. We'd love to help you in whatever we can help you in.
Have a great one, Andy. All
right, brother.
You're listening to Success in Real Estate on The Point.
Here's Frankie Griffin with your weekly featured property on Success in Real Estate.
Hi, good morning again. Welcome back to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin. Thank you for joining us to this morning so far. We've had a great show. I hope you've enjoyed it. We always would love to hear from you if you have any questions or comments. Number again is 799-8255. 799-8255. And with this featured property, I would like to just make people aware, if this is something you might be interested in. I personally have a rental property. It's should be available here within the next week or two, something like that. But it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. It's a small house, but very nice, very clean. And it's over in Casey. In fact, it's just across the river. Once you cross the river, of course, you got BC High School you'll see over on the left, and got a little house there very near BC High School. So if it's maybe you're a college student and looking for a place to rent, I'd love to talk to you about that. The rent on this property is $850 a month, but that includes electricity and water. I'll pay the light bill and I pay the water bill. So really all you're going to have to pay is the rent, and I think you should be good to go. But it's a really nice little house, again, in Casey, in the Avenues. Really nice property for anybody for that matter. But it's very close to the university, so I have rented to quite a few college students, and we've done very well. If it's something you're interested in, certainly give me a call. My phone number, I'll give that out right now, is 315-7303. 315-7303. And again, if you couldn't write that down, maybe you're driving down the road, you can always find me on my website. Just go to www.frankiegriffin.com. Again, frankiegriffin.com. All right, and now the last thing I want to talk about is the top 10 remodeling projects that would create the largest return on the investment. And some of these are just not that you're trying to sell your house, but maybe just trying to create more value in the house. In some cases, more room. But in a lot of these, it's an excellent way to make sure your house shows better if you're thinking about selling, and obviously even get a better price than you might get if you didn't do any of this stuff. But I'm going to start with number 10 and then work our way up. Number 10, I think this would be this is pretty big compared to the other 9, but it's adding a second-story addition to your house. Now that's pretty big right there. That's a big remodeling deal. But the report says this will return a 72% return on the investment if you do that. But then getting into some of the things that you more commonly and typically see when it comes to remodeling, updating the bathroom actually comes in number 9. You know, you typically hear the top 2 things to remodel and get your money back is kitchens and bathrooms. Neither one of those are number 1 on this. In fact, the bathrooms is number 9, and it says you can expect a 73% return on your investment with updating your bathrooms. Number 8 is basement remodeling. So I guess for those that may have a basement, if you want to remodel it, you can expect a 78% return. But number 7, and I really like this one, it says replacing your siding will create a 78% return on your investment. And I'm going to tell you, siding is so important. It's not terribly expensive, especially if maybe you have wood siding or some kind of siding that creates a lot of maintenance. Most people today, they're looking for something just maintenance-free. They don't want to have to work and paint and do stuff like that. So if you have vinyl siding, I think you'll find a big return on your investment. And I don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to scoot through these next ones real quick. Number 6, replacing your windows. That's always a big deal buyers are looking at. Number 5 is the remodeling kitchen. Again, 82% return on that. Number 4, replacing the garage door. That's a huge cosmetic thing, if nothing else, but an 83% return. Number 3, adding space or an attic bedroom or something like that will create a 84% return. Number 2, adding a deck or patio onto the house is a 87% return. But number 1 is replacing your front door. And what they're talking about here, you want a front door that operates, it closes, it opens properly, it doesn't hang up. And the same with the storm door. But we're about out of time. In fact, we are out of time. Thank you for joining us on Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin on The Point.